Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome back to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Overpowered Luffy goes on an adventure, but this time with a different crew. Movie 1, subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I do not own this fanfic, and also make sure to check out the author of this fanfic, Doublem7, and support him for writing this awesome fanfic. Link is in the description. Let's begin this story. Shelltown. A young man with a straw hat arrives in Shelltown, learning of a strong fighter that he decides will be his first mate. He finally found the strong person, but he was held down to a post, against his will. "I heard you were strong, want to join me?" said the skinny young man, with a straw hat. He wore a red vest, and khaki shorts. His confidence oozed with every word he spoke. "You're right, like I'll ever join you. Get lost, I got something to prove here." The man's intense gaze wouldn't go unnoticed by the young captain, yet he remained determined. "I heard they weren't going to let you go. They're going to execute you," exclaimed the young captain. "Let them. I doubt that damn shitty brat will have enough guts to do it. Tell you what, I'm breaking you out of here, let me just find the keys. Nobody asked you to do anything." Despite his attempts, the young captain was gone dashing towards the guard's tower, leaving the man to himself once again. Well, how's our prisoner?" A small boy who was the son of the marine commander, went inside the prison yard, and ate some food right at the face of the prisoner. "You really didn't think I'd let you go, did you?" Lines of riflemen stood in a line pointing their guns at the prisoner. His grip tightened, trying to break his cuffs. Yet he felt drained, as said cuffs were coated with sea stone, draining his power. "You useless brat," said the prisoner, cursing the existence of the little shit. "Haha. Okay, get ready. Aim. Fire." The line of soldiers shot at the helpless prisoner, yet they missed the young captain returning back from his mission of retrieving the keys to the cuffs. The man absorbed all of the bullets, and with a smile on his face, he deflected them back to the marine soldiers. Screamed the enlightened captain. "I found your keys." The captain's arms extended like rubber, and uncuffed the prisoner. The prisoner smiled under his scarf, and rubbed his wrist. He stood up, standing beside the young captain, as a powerful foe emerged amongst the fallen marines. "Who the hell do you think you are? I am Axe Hand Morgan. My law is absolute. Power is absolute. Justice will prevail." The young captain drew back both of his arms, and launched them at the marine captain. Gum Gum Bazooka. Despite the amazing launch of the attack, the marine captain blocked the attack by raising his solid metal axe for an arm. "Absolute justice will prevail. I am Captain Axe Hand Morgan, you fool." Axe Hand Morgan, Marine Captain. "I'm Monkey D. Luffy, Captain of the Strawhat Pirates. And this is my first mate. What's your name again?" Luffy looked puzzled at his new crew member. "Monkey D. Luffy, Captain Strawhat Pirates. Zero Beery." The man thought to correct the young captain, yet he went with his gut. "First mate, huh? Yeah, I'll take that. My name is Katakuri, first mate of the Strawhat Pirates." With the announcement of his name, Katakuri molded both his arms into machi, creating a rock-hard structure. Then he launched them at Morgan, left arm connecting with the axe arm, and the right arm connected right at the jaw. Morgan let out a loud groan, losing footing. Katakuri's attack was immediately followed by Luffy's gum bazooka, effectively knocking the marine captain out of consciousness. Helmeppo ran away immediately, yelling something about getting revenge, while the rest of the marines dropped their weapon, raising their arm in surrender. Katakuri, first mate Straw Hat Pirates. Zero Beery. "Wow, you're strong, I knew it." "Shushu," Luffy said with a smile. "You're not so bad yourself, Captain," said Katakuri while he fixed his scarf around his mouth. Oblivious to him, an exciting, tragic, and wonderful adventure awaits him. That day the legend of Strawhat Luffy spread wide throughout the East Blue, as the Marines who were supposed to uphold justice and despise pirates, saluted Monkey D. Luffy, as he sailed away towards his next adventure. Meanwhile in the New World, "Where are my sons?" yelled a ghastly woman behind the giant curtain. Her giant frame caused tremble among those present. "They're on their way, Mama," replied one of the people who are witnessing Mama's anger. "Where are they?" Big Mom raised her hands, and literally pulled the soul right out of the body of the poor person. "Charlotte Linlin, Big Mom, Yonku, Mama. We are here, you can stop worrying now." "What did you need from us?" asked the fourth son of Big Mom, Charlotte Oven. His presence immediately became apparent, as soon as he came inside the room. "Charlotte Oven, fourth son, 700 million beery." "Shut it is I that Mama needs," said the man right behind Oven. He also emitted the same amount of pressure as the fourth son. "Why are you such a nuisance, Tefuku?" asked his brother. "Charlotte Tefuku, third son, 760 million beery." "Mama, my sons, finally you have arrived." Big Mom retreated back to her bed while retaining her gaze to the other person present for the meeting. "My son, you will not say anything to Mama." The man remained aloof, retaining his gaze at the window. His arms are crossed, as his swords clanked to his side. "Very well then, Mama would like you three to take Fishman Island from the wretched Whitebeard." "Right away, but do you know what we're up against?" asked Oven. "No need for a brother, that's why we have a brother." "Hey, where did he go?" said Tefuku. The two brothers looked for their third brother, yet he was already on his way out of the room. "That's our brother, with his observation being so strong, he can already see minutes in advance," said Oven. "Yeah, that is our brother Zoro. Charlotte Zoro, son, 1 billion beery." Well, what do we have here?" asked the menacing man as he approached the dub. He was wearing clown attire and twirled his knives in his hands. "What do you have for me here?" "Oh, Master Buggy, I brought a gift for you here," said a woman who had short black hair. Her glasses gleamed in the sunlight while her trusty sword hand to her side. "Buggy the Clown, Captain Buggy Pirates, 15 million beery. Great job, my sweet, I always knew I could count on you." Buggy slowly approaches the cage in which Luffy was encased. "What say you, prisoner?" "Blah." Luffy mocked the clown by sticking his tongue out. "Why did you little piece of Buggy put his face right in front of the cage?" "Wanna die, kid," he said in the most menacing voice possible. Luffy got a hold of Buggy's face with both his hands, grasping them tightly. Then he retracted his head so far that it surprised the young woman. Then, as soon as he released, Luffy's extended head made contact with Buggy's helpless face, causing a loud bang. "Captain Buggy!" yelled one of his subordinates. "Shut up, you fools." Buggy regained his composure and stood just a few feet from the cage, this time with caution. "You damn demon brat, you're going to get it now." Introducing Buggy's special cannon. A giant cannon was revealed from under cloth. "Get ready now, you bastard. Light her up, boys." Buggy's subordinate immediately complied, lighting the fuse of the cannon. The countdown began, yet Luffy remained smiling. 3, 2, bye-bye. The cannon fired, causing a cloud of dust. This caused the girl who imprisoned Luffy to jump into action. She could not let this man die for her gain. But before she could run in front of the cannonball, someone else beat him to it. "Damn it, I got lost." The smoke cleared and revealed Katakuri catching the cannonball in his hands. He threw it into the sky, causing it to explode in the air. Everyone was surprised other than Luffy. "Shishi, it's alright, I knew you'd come eventually." Luffy began to punch the metal cage and broke it into pieces. "Finally. Thanks for the help." Luffy looked at the girl who trapped him, confusing her. "Wait, I didn't even do anything," replied the girl. "Alright crew, let's beat this clown up." Luffy stood in the middle with Katakuri to his right and the girl to his left. "Wait, don't include me. Don't bother, lady, there's no point." Katakuri cracked his fist and launched a machi punch at one of the cronies, while Luffy got to work with another group. "You betrayed me," Buggy exclaimed, looking directly at the girl. "Kabaji. Moji. Get them." Kabaji was a swordsman who rode a unicycle. He charged at the girl, causing her to draw her sword. "I will make you bleed, girl," from one swordsman to another. Kabaji, first mate Buggy Pirates, 7 million beery. Moji went for Katakuri, riding his trusty lion toward the Strawhat first mate. "Go Richie. Tear him to pieces." Moji, lion tamer Buggy Pirates, 4 million beery. Meanwhile, Luffy was face to face with Buggy. "The damn brat causing all this problem. Now I'll really kill you." Buggy threw knives at Luffy, which he easily dodged. "I can't lose here, you know. I will be the next king of pirates." Luffy launched a punch at Buggy, which he easily dodged. The strange thing was, Buggy's head was detached from his body. Then his hands circled behind Luffy and cut him in the arms. "Well, weird." Luffy did not flinch, and he punched the hands away. "I have to admit, you're strong, but you're no match for me. Do you know that my head is worth 15 million? You're as good as dead." Buggy's head was high in the air, while the rest of his body was chopped into pieces, flying all around Luffy. But yet again he did not move a muscle, his eyes fixated at the feet of Buggy, which remained on the ground. Gum no, it's no use, kid. How are you going to hit me? Pistol." Luffy aimed right at Buggy's feet, hitting them right on the mark. Buggy's face turned into a dark shade of red, as he screamed in agony. His body returned back to normal, as he grasped his feet while jumping up and down. He then looked up at Luffy ready to curse him, but was met with a barrage of punches. Gomu no Gatling. This effectively knocked the clown off his feet and caused him to pass out. Luffy won this battle. I wonder how my crew members are doing. Meanwhile, Katakuri was barely breaking a sweat, as Moji was barely any trouble for him. The giant lion was a nuisance, but it was no trouble at all. He disposed of the duo by knocking them out with a hardened machi punch. He breathed out a sigh of relief, as his quick victory made him feel a little bit better. "At least I'm not too tired. Wonder how everyone else is doing." Katakuri began to walk away from the fight. Moji and Richie were on top of each other and passed out from the uneven battle. Lastly, Kabaji drew his sword against a worthy opponent. The woman he was battling was skilled, making it a difficult victory. "I have to admit, you're giving me a bit of trouble. Do you have a name before I kill you?" "Yeah, my name is Tashigi. I guess I'm allied with the Straw Hats now." Tashigi let out a sigh, as she might as well ally herself with these strong people, making her escape and end goal easier. Tashigi, Navigator Strawhat Pirate, 0 beery. Their blade clashed once more, as this time Tashigi would gain an advantage by being the better swordsman. Luffy and Katakuri arrived as soon as Tashigi gained the upper hand, slicing Kabaji across the chest. Tashigi won the battle. "Great job, I'm Luffy, and this is my first mate Katakuri. By the way, what can you do?" asked Luffy. "I guess I am a swordsman, and I know a thing or two about navigating a ship." "Great, welcome, Navigator." "You, Captain, the pirate activity here is well maintained." "No problem at all," said a man who wore a white vest, his in his hands. "Smoker, Marine Vice Captain. Great job, Smoker-san, you can take the rest of the day off." The woman was looking outside her open office window. Her eyes remained ablaze by the prospect of a possible conflict coming her way. She kept her eyes to the sky, as the weather was telling her more than anyone else could understand. "Okay, I'll be at the bar, you know where to find me, Captain." Smoker made his exit, leaving the woman to herself. It looks like today's weather is going to be snowy. The woman raised her weapon, she twirled it, releasing a weather egg which she threw to the sky. Suddenly the weather changed from sunny into snow. "There you go, Logtown. Here's a little snow courtesy of your local Marine Captain Nami," she said to no one in particular, yet smiling to herself, as she did a favor for the Logtown citizens. "Nami, Marine Captain, damn storm, we need to stop somewhere, Captain," exclaimed Tashigi, as she tried to navigate their stolen ship from Buggy. "Aye, where to then?" asked Luffy, who was too busy eating the ship supply into nothing. "There's an island coming up, it's called Gecko Island. We can stay there for a little bit until this storm calms down," replied Tashigi, while she was checking her compass and maps. "We better not stay there long, I don't know how I can be a pirate king there," Luffy said with a mouthful of food. Katakuri, on the other hand, stood in front of the ship, sagely thinking to himself. His path wasn't expected to be here, yet here he is, a full-fledged pirate, helping a man who he barely knows, sailing with a woman who is even more of a stranger. "Land ho!" screamed Katakuri, shaking the thoughts to the back of his mind. "That's it, Gecko Island," screamed Tashigi, glad that her navigation skill was still up to standards. "Alright, let's go." Luffy jumps from the ship towards the island, leaving his two crew members to themselves. The duo looked at one another, and Faspam. "That damn Luffy," they said at the same time. Luffy landed on the island, stretching his legs, and they have been at sea for a couple of days. What caught Luffy's attention was that despite the thunderstorm, there was a fire in what he assumed was the village of the island. He immediately ran in that general direction. Before he could reach the village, Luffy was hit with a giant thunderbolt, causing him to stop. Though it was a direct hit, he was unfazed. What was that? Luffy checked his body if there was any damage, there was none. "Foolish mortal, you dare enter my land. You, and the rest of those pirates will leave or you will face my wrath," screamed an omnipotent voice. Luffy looked around where the voice was coming from. "Yeah, I'm a pirate, so what of it? Then you shall die, mortal." This time Luffy was hit with consecutive lightning bolts, each time not doing a single damage to him. "Look pal, I don't know what's your problem here, but I'm just here to wait out the storm. Now come out, and fight me." "What the hell are you? And wait, you're not with those black cat bastards," said the voice. "What? I'm with the Strawhat pirates. See my Strawhat. He names their crew Black Cat Pirates." Luffy began to laugh from the name. "Oh well, I apologize, I guess. I hope you're not lying to me or you will really face my wrath." This time the voice had a face, and the man revealed himself from behind the ditch. "Alright, you want to fight?" Luffy readied his fist, while the man raised his hands up in surrender. "Look, I thought you were one of those Black Cat Pirates. They set fire to the village, and tried to run away with Miss Kaya. Luckily, Mary intercepted, but retained heavy injury. I like to keep to myself, protect this quiet island from the distant, but this has caused me to step down, and deal with these people myself," said the man. Luffy dropped his fist, and smiled at the stranger. "So you like to shoot people at a distance with lightning? Great. Welcome to my crew. You can be our sniper," said Luffy. "Wait, what do you mean? Don't even try a new guy, he won't even budge." Tashigi finally caught up with their captain, with Katakuri not too far behind. The man swiftly raised his hands to launch another attack, but stopped when Luffy announced who they were. "Oh, this is Katakuri, my first mate, and that's Tashigi, my navigator. They're your new crewmates," said Luffy. "But I don't, so where's these black cats hiding?" asked Katakuri, as he scanned the area. "They're not hiding. As the villagers try to put out the flames, the Black Cat Pirates made an announcement that they will come at full force midday to destroy the village, and take Miss Kaya's inheritance by force," replied the man, showing fear despite his great ability. "After all, what can one man do against a whole group of pirates? That's why you're here at the end of the village, waiting for their arrival," asked Tashigi. This time she gripped her sword, angered by the Black Cat Pirates. "Yes, well, this is no job for one person. We are going to help," said Luffy. Thank you, but I can't ask you to risk your lives for us. You don't owe this village anything, I do." "Well, friends help friends, and now that you're my sniper, you are a friend," said Luffy with a giant smile. Tashigi and Katakuri sweat drop. What a shallow way of thinking, they both thought. "Thanks again. Well, we have two docks. This one, and the one on the opposite end. If you guys can watch it there. Tashigi, Katakuri, go over there, I'll stay, and watch here. My name is Enel, guardian of Syrup Island. Enel, sniper Strawhat Pirates, Zero Beery. Alright, I'm staying with Enel." The duo agreed, and went to the opposite side of the island, leaving Luffy and Enel to themselves. And now we wait. Indeed. Meanwhile with Katakuri and Tashigi, they were also bored out of their mind, yet their discipline was strong, and they remained attentive to their job. "So what's your story?" asked Tashigi. "Me? Just a wandering soul who happened to end up on that island where my kindness outweighs my logical side," So long story short, I helped a little girl from that brat, Homepo, who was going to execute her, but in turn I had to survive 2 months without food or water, and then he would set me free. That's when I met Luffy, who figured out that it was a false promise, and he set me free. We also beat a marine captain, so yeah. What's your story? Said Katakuri. Well, I was raised as an orphan, trained under a great swordsman. I had this friend who ended up being the child of a monster. Anyway, everyone got killed on the island, and I escaped from my friend's help. I've just been trying to find my friend and tell them I'm sorry, said Tashigi, tears flowing down from her eyes. Sorry for what? But Tashigi would not be able to answer Katakuri, as a plethora of pirates arrived, as expected. Black Cat pirates, I assume, said Katakuri. What's it to ya? Said one of the pirates. Well, this morning, really nothing, but thanks to my captain, you're all our punching bags. Katakuri jumped ahead, extending both his hands and hardening them into hard machi, then he began to mow the enemies, as if they were grass. Tashigi froze for a minute, amazed by the man's skill, yet she would also like to join the action. So Tashigi drew her trusty weapon, and wielded it with both hands, and charged at the enemy, slicing them gracefully with 1 stroke per enemy. Captain! Captain! Someone from the very back of the Black Cat pirates was yelling at a Den. We have a problem here. Help us. They're strong. Captain, help. On the other side of the line, a passed-out Chris Django was lying on the floor, drooling. Luffy and Enel stood side by side while their enemies stood in front of them. No matter, Django will wake up eventually, and force that signature from Kaya. I am Kuro of the Black Cats, I will be your end. Kuro, Black Cat Pirates, 14 million beery. How are you planning on doing that? Asked Luffy, but he was met with 2 enemies charging at him, causing him to lose his footing. Sham and Buchi, kill this fool, said Kuro to the 2 new arrivals. Sham was a skinny fellow who had cat-like features, while Buchi was a big fellow who also had cat-like features. Don't forget about me. Enel charged at Kuro carrying lightning in his hands, throwing them at Kuro, but the intellectual man, only second in IQ to Ben Beckham, easily dodged a half-ass attack, and cut Enel's waist. Enel grasped his side, and fell back a little bit. Kuro was no cakewalk, he was quick, agile, and smart. But Enel had Goro on his side. So this time Enel still charged at Kuro, same result with Kuro dodging, and aiming at Enel's side, though time, Enel charged his entire body with electricity. Kuro sliced at Enel, but his metal claws conducted electricity, causing Kuro to be electrocuted. Kuro eventually passed out from electrocution. Luffy had a hold of both Sham and Buchi's head, and slammed them against each other. All they had was their flexibility from being cats. One-up, Enel. Are you done? Asked Luffy. Yeah, I think so. Hey, what's that? Enel picked up the Den. Captain, please help us. Enel and Luffy looked at one another. Then a new voice spoke. Hello, whoever you are on the other line will beat you like you did to your precious Black Cat pirates. Who's this? Luffy spoke to the Den. Who's this first? Replied the other person. The name is Luffy. Who is this? Luffy. You won. This is Tashigi. Oh Tashigi, hi. We beat them already. Meet us back in the village. This time it was Enel's time to answer. Luffy looked at Kuro's full body, as well as the rest of the Black Cats that they had just beaten. Village is that way, right? Luffy asked Enel. Yeah, you coming? Give me a moment, I'll be there in a few. Luffy gave him a smile while Enel shrugged it off and walked towards the village. This left Luffy with Kuro. Django was still passed out, as well as Sham and Buchi. What do you want, brat? Why did you stay? You're strong, evil, but strong. So lend me your strength. Join you? Like I would ever. What am I going to do with these fools? Bring M. I still don't see your point. See, my brother Ace, he writes to me all the time. He tells me that his father, White Balls or something like that, has his own division of pirates. So I was thinking, since that man is the closest to One Piece, and being called the strongest man in the world, that I need to do that same. So I'm extending an offer to be my friend. Join my armada. After what I've done here, you still extend me this offer. Kuro was still lying flat on his back. You seem like a good guy, just lost in your ways. So I'm giving you something to do, to look forward to. What do you say? Kuro let out a long sigh. The Black Cat Pirates will leave this village tonight, but we are officially onto the Strawhat Pirates. Just give us a summon, we'll stay close, and we'll be there. Sounds like a plan. See ya, Kuro. Luffy made his way back to the village. Kuro shook his head, from a man who was going to take the fortune of a young heiress, to the subordinate crew of Straw Hat Pirates. What a time. In the village, Katakuri and Tashigi were already being fed so much that they could not eat any longer. Enel on the other hand was not used to this much attention, and remained to himself. Luffy arrived at the scene of the celebration, and immediately went to eat all the food. Hello there, my name is Mary, and this is Miss Kaya. We are forever grateful for what you've all done for us here today. You look like a sheep. Luffy still spoke with his mouth full, though Mary simply ignored this. Well, I heard from your crew member that you need a ship. And I happen to have one. You may have it, as a thank you for saving us. Its name is Going Merry, please take good care of it. Mary and Kaya took a bow, and retreated back to the manor. Awesome, we have ourselves a ship. Luffy yelled with his mouth still full of food. Enel joined the trio while Katakuri and Tashigi continued to shake their heads, but were laughing regardless. Yeah, these are great people, said Enel to himself. And Skypie, please don't kill me. A man was running away from someone terrible. He was weaving through the forest area trying to escape the wrath of the god. No matter how fast he ran, he felt like there was no use, it was hopeless in his mind. Then he tripped and began to roll all over the place, finally stopping when a man's foot met his face. Please don't kill me. It was 4 people surrounding the poor man, who was sure to meet his end. You've angered the god mortal, any last words? Said the man standing before the escapee. The escapee knew he had no way out, as death was inevitable. So with his last ounce of courage he yelled. He is no god. He is a mortal by the name of Yusuf. The man met his end by burning to death. From a distance the 4 men looked, it was probably thousands of yards away. Such accuracy, the 4 men of the god's army retreated back to their master, amazed by his skill. Yusuf, god of Skypia. So I'm Enel, I was the guardian of Syrup Island. I wield the Goro no Mi. I wish to become an entity that the world will remember for eternity. I'm Tashigi, I am aspiring to be the greatest swordsman in all seas. Great, I'm Katakuri, I'm only here to help this guy become the pirate king. Sounds like a foolish dream, but I think he can do it. I'm hungry, Luffy groaned, as he lay face down on the deck of Mary. Despite being a new ship, the group felt right at home. It was as if the ship knew what they were feeling. You ate all the damn food already, what did you expect? Said Katakuri. Their conversation was held into a hold, as another ship, much bigger than their own, hit them. Watch it, you bastard. Yelled Luffy, pissed off that they would do that to his ship. Ha! Who's speaking? You dare speak to me that way? I am Captain Iron Fist Fullbody. You dare disturb my date. I don't care about your damn date, you hit my ship. Luffy was reading his fist, Katakuri, Enel, and Tashigi were ready to back him up. Why, you little, do you want to go to prison? Fullbody jumps aboard Luffy's ship and challenges him to a fight, raising his fist. Bad idea, said Tashigi, as she returned to handling the helm of the ship. Luffy received a couple of quick blows from Fullbody, but remained unhurt. This began to scare the marine captain. What is wrong with you? But Luffy gave Fullbody a swift uppercut, sending him to the sky in a faraway distance. Then they can hear Fullbody landing somewhere close, most likely a ship. Enel inspected the area, and used his sharp vision to locate some smoke on a ship, most likely where Fullbody landed. Over there. He landed on that ship called Bertie. I'm not done with you, bastard. Luffy jumps after the guy, using his gum fruit to cover the distance. Enel looked at the other 2 with Katakuri saying get used to it. Luffy landed on top of Fullbody, causing him to lose his air. Then Luffy met a swift kick from an old man, sending the captain to fly through walls, only to stop when a man with a carefree look and pineapple hair caught him. Damn brat, you have to pay for your damages, you can't just use my restaurant to brawl. The man with the long mustache and red pants said. The pineapple hair guy who caught Luffy went back to his station and continued to work. What, old man? I don't need to do anything, I have to become Pirate King. Ha! Pirate King you say, foolish dream. Said the old man. So I need you to work off your damage, say 60 days. I don't have that, old man, like I said I have to become Pirate King, I heard you. I once had your aspiration, kid, but things change. Who are you anyway? Everyone was shocked by Luffy's question. I'm Red Leg Zeph, proud owner of Bereti, the floating restaurant. Now get to work or I'll double your punishment. Red Leg Zeph, Bereti, Luffy groaned and murmured, but went to work. Though his work was more of a nuisance than actual help. They assigned him to clean, Luffy falls asleep half the time. They assigned him to wash dishes, and he breaks all the plates. They assigned him to cook, and he burns the food. So Zeph's last task for him was to serve the customers. Meanwhile, Fullbody threatened his way out of paying anything, using his status as a marine. Luffy wore an apron, and held pen and paper at hand. He walked toward the dining area, surprised to see familiar faces sitting at one of the tables. Tashigi was waving at him with a smile while Katakuri and Enel were enjoying their meal. Oi Luffy. You work here now? Asked Tashigi. What do you mean? In a matter of seconds Luffy had his face stuffed with Enel's food. You damn fool, get to work. Zeph hit Luffy on the back of the head with a plate, breaking it into pieces. Ouch, ouch, old man. Luffy began to scratch the back of his head. Now hurry up and get to work, stop bothering our customers. Just before Zeph could drag Luffy by the ear, the door busted wide open, revealing 2 people. It's you again, I told you to get out of here. Patty was one of the chefs in charge of the restaurant, serving only right under Zeph. You scum pirate, we don't serve you dirty bastard if you have no money, you hear? Please, just feed my captain. The man said, as he begged the people in the room. Do you have money? No? Then get out. Patty kicked the duo in the stomach, causing them to fall back outside the door. Before Patty could follow up, he was hit in the face by the pineapple-haired guy. Just give them the damn food, Patty. The pineapple-haired guy gave a plate to the duo, as well as pouring them a glass to drink. I told you not to come back, Jin, bringing Don Krieg with you, I see. Jin, First Mate Don Krieg Pirates, 12 million beery. Don Krieg, Captain Don Krieg, 17 million beery. Sorry, I didn't know what else to do. replied Jin, but was met by Don Krieg's fist. Shut up you fool, we don't beg. Don Krieg got to his feet and pointed his power armor guns at everyone in the room. Now then give me all your food and all of your water. I need to feed my men. You promised to not do this, Captain. Shut up, Jin. Now do as I say. You're right, like we'll fall over and surrender, replied Patty. Just do as he says, just leave us alone afterwards, Krieg, said Zeph, still holding Luffy's ears. Well, you red-leg Zeph. I heard a lot about you, surviving the Grand Line, and all. Yes, so what of it? Nothing, just prepare my food, and we'll be gone. The Zeph crew prepared the required food for Don Krieg, then the duo took the food, and left, just as they said they would. The tension dispersed, and everyone went back to normal. Meanwhile, Luffy was intrigued by the guy who gave them food. Hey you, would you give them food? No one needs to go hungry. Plus Jin's my friend, replied the guy who was cleaning up the plates where Don Krieg and Jin ate. Great, I decided, you're going to be my chef. Tough luck, buddy. I'm not pirate material, replied the man. Sure you are, plus I've already decided. Katakuri, Tashigi, and Enel snickered amongst themselves, as this was a familiar sight. Yeah, good luck with that. The pineapple-haired guy walked back into the kitchen, who was followed by Luffy. He continued to bother the guy until he would budge. Katakuri, Tashigi, and Enel all made their way back to the Going Merry, as they waited for their captain to get out of the mess that he started. Zeph gathered his entire crew in the lobby. He had an announcement to make. Luffy and the pineapple-haired guy were in the background. He was still bothering the guy to join his crew. Today Don Krieg entered our premises, but was kicked out immediately. Knowing his reputation, he will definitely bite back. I want you all to be ready. Everyone nodded. Now go get some rest, you bunch of scalawags. The next day, business was usual with Luffy still bothering the guy. Funny thing was, he would not budge. Zeph continued to keep an eye on the distance to be ready for Don Krieg's arrival. He rubbed his eyes from frustration, as he wanted to keep a low profile for as long as possible. But now this man has made it difficult. Just as he opened his eyes, he could see 3 giant ships quickly approaching their small Barady restaurants. Zeph, give up your ship or you will all die, yelled a nourished Don Krieg who stood at the helm of his ship. Damn. Well men, prepare to defend this ship with your life. Zeph stood in front of the entire group, waiting for Don Krieg's arrival. Luffy was still in the back, continuing to bother the man. This time he finally answered. Alright, I'll join, but on one condition. Help me defend this ship. Easy enough. Katakuri, Tashigi, Enel. The trio looked at Luffy from their table. They were still enjoying their meal, unaware of what was about to happen. We're going to help our chef fight this crook guy. His name is Don Krieg, and he's no small fry. I don't care, I'll beat his ass. His first mate, navigator, and sniper all got up ready to fight. Katakuri fixed his scarf, Tashigi drew her sword, and Enel began to play with lightning in his hands. Don Krieg finally landed on the ship, standing face to face with Zeph. He removed his overcoat, revealing a golden armor. You sure you want to fight me, old man? These old legs are still feared in the sea, Krieg. Zeph swiftly kicked Krieg on the side of the head, but he blocked with his right hand. Fool, do you think I'm stupid enough to trade blows with you? Krieg got a grip of Zeph's legs, and opened a hidden poison canister in his right hand. Good night. Zeph felt woozy, falling into one knee. He held onto Krieg's shirt before finally letting go, and passing out. Now everyone will be easy, thought Krieg, but he was very wrong, as a skinny man with a straw hat zoomed right past him, crashing to his men right behind him. What the? Krieg, you bastard, I'm going to beat you up. Luffy was beating some of Krieg's men before making it right in front of him. Who the hell are you? Monkey D. Luffy, the next king of pirates. He threw a punch right at Krieg's face, surprising him. Through all of his experience and struggles in the Grand Line, Don Krieg has never encountered a direct punch to the face. He flew back into a wall, breaking it. He was slow to get up, as he touched his nose, blood flowing from it. He got up, but this time he drew a spear from his back. It extended and opened right at the middle, forming a shield before the blade. He began to twirl his weapon and ran towards Luffy. Luffy had his fist to his side, steam coming out of his body for a moment, only to revert back to normal. As Krieg got close, Luffy threw his hands back and immediately threw it back forward. Gomu Gomu no Jet Bazooka. His palms collided with Don Krieg's chest, causing his armor to collapse into a million pieces. Surprise, Krieg once again fell on his back, unable to understand how he could be easily defeated. He tried to get up once more, but felt the air knocked out from his body. Luffy landed a kick to his stomach. Gomu Gomu no Jackhammer. That's for messing with Zeph. He stood on top of Don Krieg, victorious. I told him if I joined them, it seems like a good group. The pineapple-haired guy was helping Zeph up to his feet. I don't know why you even stayed for so long. Zeph was still feeling the poison. I owed you one. You gave me a home, a place to stay, fed me, and taught me how to cook like you. I treat you all the same. You just happen to be a well-known pirate who drifted to my lovely old ship. Yeah, which is why I still felt that I owed you one. Whatever, kid, you need to help them. Yeah, sit right there. Don't do anything stupid, said the man, as he helped Zeph sit down on the wall. Yeah, get them off my ship, Marco. You got it. Marco turned into a once-thought extinct phoenix, causing blue flames to emit from his body. Then he soared to the sky, causing a streak of blue and yellow flames to be left on his trail. Marco the Phoenix, Chef Strawhat Pirates, 60 million beer. Everyone was dazed by the sight. It was not common for people of the East Blue to meet a man who possessed such a rare and mythical devil fruit. Marco the Phoenix was his name. Katakuri was facing Jin, who was surprisingly a strong opponent. His skill with the baton was very fluid, causing great trouble to Katakuri. The only thing he got going for him was his devil fruit. Even though he was getting hit, each blow was nullified due to his skin turning into mochi. Enel was taking care of Krieg's countless cronies. He had 3 giant ships, full of power-hungry pirates. So Enel weaved and danced around the countless pirates, dishing out lightning, and combining it with his hand-to-hand combat skills. His strike was stopped by a giant man wearing a weird costume. He had a cylinder in his chest, arms, and legs. Get ready to face Pearl, and my ultimate defense. You're right. Enel picked up a rusty old metal, and used his ability to conduct his power through it. Then he pointed the rod at Pearl, launching a powerful thunderbolt directly at him, causing Pearl to be electrocuted. Wow, I didn't expect that. Awesome. The Shiggy on the other hand was helping the common people who were having a hard time escaping the commotion. She protected them, as they made their way to the escaped ships. Luckily the other pirate chefs were helping her. The Shiggy swung her weapon at another pirate, but felt someone's tight grip on her arms. I'll pay you any amount of money. Please help me. What? My village, we need help. I've been looking for strong people for weeks. Please help my village. Tashigi was a very helpful individual, not one to refuse people in need. Where is your village? She sliced at another pirate. Konomi Island. Luffy. I'm going to Konomi Island, yelled Tashigi. Luckily everyone picked it up, as Tashigi got aboard the Going Merry with the lady who grabbed her, and sailed towards Konomi Island. Luffy did not question his navigator. His mindset was one thing at a time, and right now Don Krieg was the piece of shit in front of him. So I helped this scum. You seem like a nice guy. Katakuri clashed with Jin. Now they are face to face with one another. I guess I didn't know him until after the Grand Line. He changed. Well, why stick with him? I guess out of duty, I have to take care of the crew somehow. Right, well, see, after this battle, my crazy captain has this plan to create a Grand Fleet. Maybe dump your boss and join us. As if it were that easy. It's not like I can lose. Jin twirled his baton, hitting Katakuri right in the face. This made Katakuri smile, as this was finally a true fight that he can invest in. He dodged Jin's following blow, not letting one hit him. Jin was faster than ever, attacking at full speed, but what seemed to be a hit, Katakuri actually dodged. Instead of dodging on the following hit, Katakuri caught Jin's baton and threw him to the ground. Then he followed by stamping on him with hardened mochi legs. Lastly, he trapped Jin on a mochi trap, hardening the casing to ensure that Jin could not move. Worthy opponent, but someone who's troublesome is coming. Good battle with you, consider my offer. Katakuri went to stand beside Luffy, and Enel also joined them. I think I need a staff that conducts electricity, like this metal bar I'm holding. Enel was twirling a rusty old metal bar that was channeling his ability. Looks like we got a strong one coming, said Katakuri. Yeah, he won't be a problem. Seems like a good guy, said Luffy. Just as the trio expected, a man wielding a giant blade arrived in a casket-shaped boat. It's him. He's the one who destroyed our 50 ships in the Grand Line, yelled Pearl, who was slow to get up, as Enel did damage to him. My quarrel is not with you. Hand over Don Krieg, and everyone will be free, the man said. Luffy tried to jump to where the man was, but was held back by both Katakuri and Enel. They both felt the strength which the man emits. He's here, now go away, Dracula Mihik. Zeph carried Don Krieg in his arms, tossing the passed-out pirate to where Mihik was floating. Marco landed beside Zeph, as he made quick work of the Don Krieg pirates. None of them stood a chance. Dracula Mihik, Shichibukai, Bounty Frozen. Zeph, didn't expect to see you here, and Marco the Phoenix. Mihik tied a rope on Krieg's hands. Yeah, and neither did I, Mihik, replied Marco. Well, I got what I came for. I don't really want to battle you, and Zeph at the same time. Guess I'll be going. Just like that, Mihik sailed away without causing any more trouble. The rest of the Don Krieg pirates surrendered, with Jin thoroughly apologizing for the action of their captain, or once captain. He explained that with Katakuri's words, he planned to change the direction of the pirate crew, and officially join the Strawhat Pirate Grand Fleet. Well, that's great. I'll give word to Kuro that you guys joined, and meet up with them. I think you all can learn some things from one another. Luffy was glad that Jin joined his cause. He felt like he was ready to conquer the Grand Line. Wait, we have to follow Tashigi. Konomi Island. Yeah, I know how to get there, said Marco, raising his hands as he approached Luffy. Oh guys, this is our new chef. His name is Marco. Sup, I'm Enel the sniper. Enel shook his hands while Katakuri did the same. I'm Katakuri, my first mate. Alright, old man Zeph, we need one of your ships. Zeph let out a sigh. You still have a bunch of damages on my ship, but I guess all is forgiven, as you beat Don Krieg and kept them off my ship. Just pick a ship and go. Thanks, old man. And so Luffy, Katakuri, Enel, and Marco sailed towards Konomi Island, where Tashigi said she was headed. By the way, you're a freaking phoenix, how cool is that? Exclaimed Luffy, causing everyone on board to laugh. In the new world, you sure about this, Ace? Asked by a big man by the name of Jozu. He was the 3rd Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. Vista was also looking at Ace, concerned by his decision. I'm in Jozu, 3rd Division Whitebeard Pirates, 265 million Biri. Flower Sword Vista, 4th Division Whitebeard Pirates, 260 million Biri. Yeah, I got to do this, I just have to. Replied Ace, the 2nd Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates. Fearful Ace, 2nd Division Whitebeard Pirates, 550 million Biri. A breathtaking figure approached Ace, and gave him a hug. The giant man was none other than Whitebeard, the strongest man in the world. Whitebeard, Yonku. Pops, I got to do this, explained Ace, trying not to tear up in the same manner, as Whitebeard was crying. I know, son, I know, just be careful, you understand. Whitebeard finally released the young man, and this time he faced a blonde man wearing all black attire. He smoked a cigarette while contemplating Ace's move. You be careful out there, Ace, said the blonde man. Yeah, I'll be careful, I just have to avenge our brother Thatch. I know, Ace, I know. Well, I best be on my way. Ace got on board his small ship, powered by his fire fruit. He ignited his hands, and the ship zoomed away. Bye everyone. I'll get that bastard Teach. Just like that, Ace was gone. Everyone stopped for a moment, watching Ace disappear on the horizon. Now my sons, I need your assistance once more. Big Mom is causing trouble in Fishman Island. She wants to test my grip on it. I want Vista and Jozu to go. The two mentioned by Whitebeard nodded, agreeing with their father's decision. I'm going to pop, said the blonde-haired man, tossing his cigarette in the ocean. Looks like you're itching for action soon, said Whitebeard. Yeah, Pops, I just want to get my feet loose. After what Teach did, I just want to release all this anger. Very well, son, be on your way then. Yes, Pops, thanks. The blonde-haired man hopped aboard the ship which Vista and Jozu were already on. Watch each other's backs, we'll be here. And Sanji, don't do anything stupid. Yeah, Pop. Blackleg Sanji, 1st Division Whitebeard Pirates, 800 million Biri. Arlong, come out here and face me. Luffy stood at the entrance of Arlong Park. The crew was back together with Katakuri, Tashigi, Enel, and Marco all standing beside their captain. The trouble which Arlong brought to the town was enough to piss Luffy off. He decided in his mind that Arlong was a bad man, and that he needed to get what was coming for him. I'm going to beat you up, you damn bastard. Arlong, Sun Pirates, 20 million Biri. The door of Arlong Park opened, revealing Arlong along with his fellow fishermen. So human dared to challenge the clear superior race. You intrigue me, human, why don't you come in, and prove what you were just spewing out just now? Damn straight. Luffy charged immediately, targeting Arlong, his fist colliding with Arlong's hands. Tashigi crossed swords with an octopus with 6 swords. He went by the name Hatchin, and his 6-sword style was very impressive. Katakuri was trading blows with the tank of a fisherman by the name of Karubi. Marco was fighting a strange fisherman who shot him with water bubbles. His name was Shu. Enel on the other hand was fighting the giant fishbowl-looking thing by the name of Mamu. Luffy was thrown into the giant tower at the center of Arlong Park. Fishermen are definitely stronger than humans, but Luffy has his rubber fruit. He slowly got up, but Arlong followed through with a knee to his stomach. Then he barraged Luffy with multiple punches to the stomach. You think you're a match for me? Foolish human. Luffy could not even catch his breath, as Arlong would not let up. Hundreds of years of torment, and we finally have control. Now you come to destroy our way of life. You can't look down on us any longer. We are the superior race. We look down on you. Arlong was caught off guard when Luffy caught one of his punches with his head. I don't give a damn about your stupid race problem. I care that you've hurt the people of this island. Luffy began to barrage Arlong with hundreds of continuous punches. Gomu Gomu Gatling gun. Arlong was hit, and was sent to the very top floor of Arlong's own tower. He was slow to get up, as Luffy immediately followed after him. Luffy rose past the top of the building. You're not going to stop me. Arlong had his fist ready, Luffy falling from the sky rapidly with his arms extended, aimed at the fisherman. You will not torment this village any longer. Arlong missed. Luffy got a clean hit right in Arlong's face. His pent-up anger reflected in his fist. The impact of the blow was so strong that Arlong's tower collapsed, one floor at a time. Tashigi had Hatchin beat, breaking all of his swords. Katakuri made quick work of Karubi, but his fisherman karate was a challenge on its own. Marco beat Chu quickly because it pissed him off that he was getting spat on. Momo laid face down on the ground, not even wanting to go back to the water, and Enel made sure of it. As the dust cleared, a group of marine soldiers stood in the gate of Arlong Park. A shocked marine captain dropped the den in hand. Hello, Captain Izumi. Again, what is the report on Konomi Island? The den spoke with the voice of a woman. Izumi quickly picked up the den, gasping for air at the sight he saw before him. Pirates are attacking, but I got this handled. Izumi dropped the den once again, forgetting to hang up. Now you dirty stickin' pirates, surrender in peace, and we won't be any trouble. Did you know about this? Tashigi was taking care of the exhausted Luffy, but the arrival of the marine quelled her interest. Did you know about this? Tashigi slowly approached the Marine captain. Some Marine officers tried to point a gun at her, but Katakuri and Enel dispersed any distraction. Izumi tried to back up, but Marco was right behind him, stopping him from his track. Look, he was paying me okay. What was I supposed to do? Shut your mouth. Tashigi spoke only a few feet from the corrupt pirate, drawing her weapon. Please, you gotta let me live. The corrupt Marine captain got on his knees to beg. You will bring no more trouble to this village. Tashigi's slash was so swift that Izumi closed his eyes from fear. Unlike the corrupt Marine captain, Tashigi was not evil, so she stopped right at the throat of Izumi. Now go away, and report everything that happened here correctly. Izumi nodded, quickly getting up to his feet and running back to his marine ship. Trickles of pee fell from his pants. That damned liar. Everyone was surprised by the voice. Finding that the den was still playing, Katakuri picked up the snail. Who's this? Asked Katakuri. It doesn't matter. The voice hung up on the other line. Katakuri shrugged and threw the den on the floor. Meanwhile, everyone else was talking to the villagers, helping them start to clean up. Luffy finally got up and stood above Arlong, who finally came to his senses. Something you need? Asked the fisherman. I guess. Spill a bread, no need to rub your victory in my face. Well, from what I understand, you are just an angry man who hated the injustice of the world. What of it? I'm starting something big enough to challenge the tip of the world order, and everyone's welcome, even you guys. I don't know how you can even extend that kind of offer. Humility echoed in Arlong's voice. I guess, but this is your chance for redemption. You give me some time to make amends, but I do accept. Great, I want you to meet up with Kuro and Jin, they will catch you up on things. Luffy got up from speaking with Arlong and joined the rest of his crew. His anger that he harbored from Arlong was gone. The man was sincere in his apologies, and he was going to make amends to his mistake. Luffy took his word for it, he better. Yo Luffy, the villagers want to treat us to a feast, let's go. Exclaimed Marco. The Strawhat pirates were finally back together, going to the village to enjoy themselves. Other line of the Den Mushi. That damn Izumi, the lady on the other line, was none other than Marine Captain Nami. What's up, boss? Smoker was sitting across her desk, reading a newspaper. He told me that my home village was fine. He told me everyone was fine. I trusted that snake bastard. And now I found out he was harboring the Sun Pirate Arlong. And he was letting them do work in my village. I knew I should have written something. Well, do you want us to go over there and take care of it? Asked Smoker, dropping his newspaper. No, it's been taken care of. Well, if that's true, we're gonna have our hands full here. Those pirates are probably no joke since they took care of Arlong. Yeah, we'll be ready for them. Nami twirled her perfect tact, producing another weather egg. I'm in a pretty shitty mood, enjoying this rainy log town. Somewhere in the East Blue, so you must be Jin. Said Kuro, receiving the newest member of the Grandfleet with open arms. Hi, you must be Kuro. Jin shook the man's hands. Alright, so let me catch you up. Kuro walked with Jin on the island where they were setting up camp for the day. I know our captain has decided that he wants to be the Pirate King, and we need to be ready for it. So I made sure everyone is top-notch. Jin was surprised that everyone was training, and training hard they were. Wow. Was all Jin could muster. Kuro stopped in front of 3 people, all of whom were his commanders. This is Django, Sham, and Bucky. They are my trainer leads. Django is my strategist trainer, Sham with agility, and Bucky with power training. Nice, well I have a body who can probably be one of your trainers. I have this guy named Pearl, he has great defense capabilities. Said Jin. Yeah, we can work something out, I'm sure. Look, another message from the main branch. A messenger bird flew in, and gave a letter to Kuro. He read it quickly, and smiled to himself. Well, it looks like Arlong the Saw is joining our little party. I heard of him, but really? How did they come about doing that? Same way they did to us most likely. Said Kuro. This time he had a little smirk on his mostly stoic face. Anyway, meeting's at 10 tonight, and there's only one thing left to be said. What is that? Asked Jin. Welcome to the Strawhat Grandfleet. And Skypie. You did well for yourself, son. A man was sitting across from his boy. Though the setting was very strange, the man did not question his decision to meet him this way. Don't call me God. An entity feared by mortals. Said Usopp, the god of Skypia. What brings you to my land here, Yasop? Yasop, Sniper Red Force Pirates, 400 million beery. He cringed a little bit from the disrespect his son was giving him, but Yasop let it slide. Well, my captain just wishes for safe passage from your land, oh lordy lord. Yasop mocked his son, seeing if he had some humanity left in him. You dare mock me, mortal. His god's army pointed all of their weapons at Yasop. He quickly raised his hands, not from fear, but out of diplomacy. Well, I guess you're too good for your old man then. Yasop was already at the door, surprising everyone in the room, but Usopp and his 4 strongest soldiers, his eyes following his father. I really just wanted to see you, but I guess you've changed. Beggin' mortal. God, Usopp shot with his Kurokabuto right at Yasop, who whipped out his gun, and shot back, both bullets meeting each other right down the middle. I'm gone. Yasop returned to his crew. So how was it? Seeing your son, Enel? Asked the man with the red hair. He's no trouble. Let's get out of here, captain. Said Yasop, retreating back to his quarters. I guess, got anything Ben? Rue? Asked the red-haired man. Ben Beckham, First Mate Red Force Pirates, 650 million beery. Lucky Rue, Red Force Pirates, 500 million. I got nothing for you, Captain, replied the first mate. Well, I'll be damned. Shanks scratched his head with his one good arm, wondering what his sniper saw in his meeting. Red-haired Shanks, Captain Red Force Pirates, 900 million beery, set sail. In Fishman Island. Look, I don't even know why Mama wants us to even be here, said Fuku, disgusted by what he was seeing around him. Something about having the sweetest candy in all the seas, said Oven. Meanwhile, Zoro was walking ahead of the group, oblivious to everything around him, still thinking to himself. Zoro, my son, I have come for you. A big woman with an army of pirates approached him. Who are you? Why did you kill everyone? Zoro had his 3 swords drawn. Despite the difference in strength, he did not care any longer. I am you, mother. Zoro gripped his fist, angered by the memory he just experienced. Suddenly his senses felt alert when 3 figures emerged from the horizon. Well, look what we have here, trespassers, said the giant man by the name of Jozu. I guess Big Mom doesn't know her territory now. Vista was dragging his 2 swords on his side, causing flowers to emit from them. Pleasure to meet you, bastards. This here is Jozu, and Vista. My name is Sanji, and we can't allow you to pass. Look here, brother, Whitebeard's men actually showed up, said Oven to Fuku. Well, shit. Fuku rubs his arms, causing tremor in the air. Out of his body came a giant genie wielding a halberd. It charged at Jozu. Jozu turned his skin into diamond, able to stop the strike of the giant genie. The initial clash was felt throughout the whole island, as powerful forces were making history. Vista got the jump on Oven, striking him twice with his flower swords. But Vista immediately jumped back from his sword, feeling like molten lava. You bastard. Finally, Sanji and Zoro were right in front of each other, each calculating each other's moves. Sanji had enough experience to respect the Charlotte family's second child, and vice versa with Zoro's respect for Whitebeard's 2nd Division captain. Any day now, Charlotte. Zoro, Sanji exclaimed, both his legs ignited into flames. Anticipation from both men was building up. Innsmouth Sanji, I will remember your name. Zoro drew his 3 swords, one in each hand, and another in his mouth. Both jumped from where they stood. Their clash was much more intense than the others, as they were the pinnacle of both Yonku's armies. Zoro's 3 blades met both of Sanji's legs, causing the air to crack. I'm sorry you guys. Luffy's last words were heard by everybody in the execution platform. His face was all smiles seeing his crewmate on his last day. Buggy the Clown stood above him giving the order to cut the head of Strawhat Luffy. Enel and Marco made quick work of Kabaji and Moji, both dead on their tracks, as soon as they saw the sight before them. Tashigi on the other hand was going one-on-one against Boogie's new ally, some woman by the name of Iron May Salvita. Her strikes were sliding on the skin of the lady. Her step faltered as she saw Luffy meet his doom. Katakuri was scared, unable to do anything, Smoker trailing right after him. As he escaped, his grasp for was evident in his eyes, as he watched Boogie give the command for the execution. Why are you even here? Asked the concerned Marine Captain Nami. Thunderclouds circled the execution platform, as the man before her did not show any sign of fear. Just looking out for my boy, replied the man under the hood. He raised his hands only for a moment, and released a massive lightning strike on the platform, missing Boogie by only an inch. You are very skilled with the weather, girl. Tell me, how did you counter me? I used my old man's weapon. Nami revealed her perfect tact, her expertise, and quick thinking made it possible to divert the strike from Boogie, rather than hit him directly. Her tact allowed her to manipulate weather, and this man seemed to have something to do with the weather. Interesting. Well, can you just leave my boy alone, just this once? Asked the old man. Like hell I would. Nami conjured ice from her tact, and launched them at the old man. She was not going to let them off that easily. To her surprise, a new figure with a top hat and a pipe came from out of nowhere, striking her ice before hitting the old man. Now aren't you a rude one? Said the man with the top hat. He lifted his head slightly, revealing a giant scar in his left eye, most likely left from a burn. Who the hell are you? Asked Nami, surprised by his arrival. The name is Sabo. I'm second in command of the old man with the hood. Smacked him upside his head. What was that for, Dragon? Again the old man by the name of Dragon smacked him a second time. Damn it, Sabo, I told you not to tell everyone who we are, yelled Dragon comically. You're your monkey D Dragon, screamed Nami. Thunder erupted from a distance behind the man, and rain began to pour. Yeah, I guess I am. The execution platform was hit by a lightning bolt, surprising everybody. The crew thought that it was Enel's doing, but he shook his head, meaning it wasn't him. Luffy fell from the platform, emerging with his hands in the air. I'm free. He was immediately pulled by the ear by none other than Tashigi. You bastard, thinking you'll go dying on us. Bow out, Tashigi, yelled Luffy. Don't ignore me. Alvida swung her mace at Tashigi, who finally regained her composure, and caught the mace by her sword, causing the mace to break into 1,000,000 pieces. My mace, she fell to her knees, and began to tear up like a child. Guys, let's get out of here. Luffy led the way towards the ship. Since Enel and Marco beat their opponent, they were closely behind their captain. Only Katakuri was behind since he was fighting Smoker. You gonna let me through? Katakuri asked the Marine Vice Captain. Like I ever would, punk. Smoke flew around his body, waiting for the right moment to strike. Well, I guess I'll just have to go through you. Katakuri hardened his machi hands once more, but this time his fist turned a dark color. Interesting, said Smoker, as he swung at Katakuri with his weapon. Though neither one made contact with one another, as the man with the top hat caught Smoker's weapon with his hands formed like a dragon claw. Same thing for Katakuri, as his hardened machi hands were caught by the man's other hand. Seems like Luffy is going that way, best be on your way. The man whose name was Sabo gave Katakuri a smile, meaning he was an ally. Katakuri nodded, and ran after his crew. Why did you help them? Asked Smoker, angered by the man's action. Luffy's my little brother. Sabo replied with a smile. The Strawhat pirates were all safe when they got aboard their ship. They laughed together, as soon as they sailed towards the reverse mountain. Glad that everyone was safe, and their trouble was behind them for now. Dragon and Sabo made their quick exit, as soon as the Strawhats were out of sight. This left Nami and Smoker standing at the dock looking at the horizon. Call HQ, we're going after them. Nami finally spoke, her men finally moving to her command. Ready our ship, we're going to the Grand Line. You heard her, let's move on. Exclaimed Smoker, rallying their men into action. You're Dragon's son, Vice Admiral Garp's grandson, you're a monster's spawn Strawhat Luffy. Days later in Alabasta, so why are you on our ship? Asked Enel, standing face to face with none other than Porgas the Ace. He just helped himself aboard the Going Merry. Enel tried to apprehend him, but he stated that he just wanted to see Luffy. Well, see, I just wanted to see my brother. Ace said, digging his nose as he spoke. What? You're Luffy's brother. But Enel wasn't going to get any answer anytime soon, as Ace fell asleep forming a giant snot bubble in the air. How did you sleep standing up? Katakuri and Marco were first to return to the Going Merry. Who's this guy? Asked Marco. He's Luffy's brother, don't ask. I have no answer, said Enel, scratching his head. Who's this guy? Tashigi was next to arrive, cheating on her sword, as she made a successful escape from the millions they called themselves. Enel didn't feel like answering any more questions. Luckily Luffy arrived just in time. Ace? Luffy jumped aboard the ship and tried to go in for a hug, but Ace woke up and punched Luffy on his head. Don't hug me, fool. I don't want your crew members to think I'm sappy. How are you doing, Ace? I'm good, I just wanted to see you before I go on my mission. Oh yeah? What's that? Top secret, brat, but I'm gonna tell you I'm after a man called Blackbeard. The duo were comically whispering in a corner, but everyone could hear what they were talking about. Cool, can I come? Exclaimed Luffy. No, you got your own adventure to go to. Here's my card, this is for you to know where I am at all times. Ace was there, and then gone in a matter of minutes. He got aboard his ship and waved goodbye to the crew. It was nice seeing you, Luffy, take care of yourself. Just like that, Ace was gone. So brother? Asked Enel. Yeah, he's my brother. Replied Luffy with a giant smile. Now let's kick Crocodile's ass. Due to some sickness, the crew was forced to change course and look for a doctor. This is how they ended up in Drum Island. Tashigi was very sick, resting in the castle which was being guarded by Enel and Marco, who were fending off Wapple's men from entering and taking over the castle. There's no end to these guys. Enel swung his new staff at the enemy, channeling his ability through it. Each strike would send lightning from the staff to all people around him. Marco was taking care of his opponent two at a time, turning into a hybrid human and phoenix. Yeah, but we got to protect Tashigi until that doctor guy comes back with the cure that Wapple stole. Should be no problem, hopefully. Luffy's fist steamed up, angered by the man called Wapple. A man who can eat, chew anything, and turn his body into a weapon. His main allies were Chess and Kuromarimo, who were now engaged in battle with Katakuri, and a new figure with a spotted white hat. Chess was easy to counter, as Katakuri simply dodged his arrows or caught them with his soft machi. The new guy was skillful with his long sword, countering each blow that Kuromarimo threw. Listen, brat, you've given me enough trouble, now just go away, and I won't be forced to kill you. Wapple consumed the cannon right in front of him, chewing it and transforming his arms into cannons. He pointed at Luffy, who remained unwavering in his decision. You need to give me the medicine, and let this town be. They don't want you to be their king. Luffy punched Wapple's hands, meeting a cannonball which he fired. The cannonball exploded in Luffy's hands, but he did not halt, as he continued to barrage the man with thousands of punches, all of which were stopped momentarily by Wapple's castle wall that he ate earlier. He changed his hands into walls, and covered himself. I am the king. Wapple changed one of his arms into a cannon once again, and opened a hole in his castle wall. Meet your doom. He fired his cannon arm directly into Luffy's unsuspecting face, directly hitting him. Luffy rolled back from the blast, but managed to quickly recover his body, continuously steaming from his newfound ability. Pure second jet pistol. His fist was quicker than before. 1 second it was beside him, and the next it met Wapple's face, sending the self-proclaimed king flying back into his own men. Chess and Kuromarimo were hit by their own captain, sending them all tumbling downhill. Luffy emerges victorious, standing on top of the mountain with his hands in the air, the cure at hand. Dr. Guy. Get this to Tashigi. The man who was fighting Kurama took the vial and ran straight inside the castle. He immediately went to work and performed the necessary treatments for Tashigi to get better. Katakuri spoke with Luffy. What do you think of this guy? He made me angry the way he acted, but I think he can be useful. Want to ask him then? Let's go see what he says. The duo went down the hill and stood right above where the trio had just fallen. Chess and Kurama were still passed out while Wapple got up on his feet. What do you guys want? Asked the man, his defeat echoed in his voice. I got an offer for you, become my subordinate, so that you can help me become the pirate king. Luffy said. Why should I, for I am king. King of nothing. Said Katakuri, crossing his arms. If you serve under this man you'll witness what a real king looks like. It was bland, straight to the point, but it seemed to have worked. Fine, I lost by a landslide, I get that. Then I guess I will serve under you. Good decision. Katakuri said, while Luffy headed back up the hill and went inside the castle to check on Tashigi. We'll go to this island and meet up with Kuro, Jin, and Arlong. Then we will summon you all when we need you. Now get out of here. Katakuri followed after Luffy. How are you feeling? Asked the doctor, relieved that his patient made it out of his surgery without any complications. I feel better, thank you. Tashigi tried to get up, but her body still burned from her sickness. Yeah, don't get up just yet, you have to stay in bed and rest for the next 2 to 3 days. Recommended the doctor. Luffy was watching this transpire, as he looked from Enel to Marco, then to Katakuri, and Tashigi, finally to the doctor, who was avidly chatting with Tashigi. Hey doc, want to join my crew? Asked Luffy, as usual he was straight to the point. Sure. Was the answer of the doctor, causing everyone to sweat, as they did not expect someone to accept his request so quickly. Great, the name is Trafalgar Law by the way. Said the doctor. He was welcomed with open arms, as the crew slowly made their way back to the Going Merry. All were glad that Tashigi was okay now. Trafalgar Law, Dr. Strawhat Pirates, 80 million beery. The flag of a flaming heart flew high on a submarine. There stood 2 figures. The small reindeer was thinking to himself, standing on top of the submarine-shaped boat. Beside him was a polar bear Mink who kept him company. What's on your mind, Captain? Asked the polar bear. Something's weird in the air, can't you feel it, Beepo? Asked the small reindeer. Beepo, Navigator Heart Pirates, 80 million beery. Don't you think it might be that weird ship in front of us that has a clown for a flag? Asked the polar bear by the name of Beepo. Maybe, there's something else, said the small reindeer. You bastards. Popping out of nowhere like that. We could have killed you. Exclaimed the clown on top of the ship. I'm Buggy the Clown, you shitheads. I'm worth 50 million. Buggy the Clown, he says. Wonder how he got this far in the Grand Line with such a low bounty, said Beepo. Get out of the way before I make you. Exclaimed the clown. The small reindeer sighed, his frustration was evident. Oh gosh, don't sink us, Captain. Exclaimed Beepo, jumping under the safety of their submarine. Why don't you get out of my way? The small reindeer slowly grew in size, turning into a giant monster. His sheer size was impressive, but the fact that his submarine could hold him from touching the water was even more impressive. Buggy Sweat dropped along with his crew. They have been lucky so far using sheer luck, but now they really met a monster of the Grand Line. Look man, I think we'll just be on our way. Buggy signaled his men to turn their ship around, and caught the fastest wind away from the monster. The giant reindeer shrank in size once again, watching Buggy's ship seemingly fly away. Screamed the captain. Yes boss. Beepo was quick to get up the deck, saluting his captain. Set sail to Sabati Archipelago. I need to get back to the New World. The reindeer was not small anymore, he was now the size of a human. He was very muscular with brown fur skin and a red nose. Yes boss, Chopper sir. Beepo jumped under the ship, immediately setting their course to Sabati Archipelago, Chopper following right after him, and closing the hatch of their submarine. Tony Chopper, Captain Heart Pirate, 110 million beery. Some days later, Bori and Broji, welcome to the Strawhat Grand Fleet. Exclaimed Luffy, as the greatest warriors of Alba raised their alcoholic glass for their initiation. They have been fighting in a little garden for years until the Strawhat Pirates met them. Luffy was so impressed with their dedication and tenacity that he gave them a different purpose other than to fight to the death. He did not promise them immediate action, but he promised that greater things could be done in time. So meet up with Kuro, who is acting commander of my Grand Fleet. There they will catch you up on things. The 2 giants laughed along with the crew, glad to finally have met such wonderful people who changed their view of life. Aboard the ship was a woman, and a corner chair where she was reading a book from Tashigi's navigation collection. Who the hell are you? Exclaimed Tashigi, who was the first to arrive back on the ship. Everyone else was enjoying themselves along with the giants. She decided to return to the ship and have a good night's rest. The name is Miss All Sunday, or you can call me Marguerite. I'm here to help you take down Mr. Zero Sir Crocodile the Shichibukai. The blonde lady smiled at Tashigi, causing her to take a couple of steps back. An Amazon Lily. As the only female member of the Royal Shichibukai, I am glad to finally have met you. The black-haired lady bowed at the sight of the most beautiful woman in all of the Amazon Lily. Cut the formalities, what would you like from me? Answered the Kuja pirate captain, and a member of the royal family, Bo Hancock. Oh Hancock, Shichibukai. You see, I am after the true history, and I am only able to attain it if you give me permission to view your tombs. A royal graveyard. Well, what a simple request. There must be more. You see, I was invited to be a member of the Royal Shichibukai because of my ability to decipher poneglyphs. They wanted to watch me, but my strength was so powerful that they could not ignore that either. So they think they are using me, but in turn I am using them. I told you my story now. Please keep quiet about this interaction. The woman gave a smile towards Bo Hancock, causing her to shudder a bit. This woman was very powerful, thus achieving her rank. Very well, but you will be watched by 2 of my warriors, and the rest of your crew will stay in your ship. Agreed, replied the woman immediately. Be on your way, Neko Robin. I want you off my lands by tomorrow. Neko Robin, Shichibukai. Yes, I should be done before then. The woman called Robin bowed her head out of respect and exited the room. She picked up her pocket dan and called her crew members. I was granted permission, but you all need to stay on this ship. Kuzan is in charge, you guys better behave. Aye, Captain, said the man behind the other line by the name of Kuzan. Kuzan, first mate flower pirates, 600 million beery, Mr. 5 versus Enel. So you're telling me you use your boogers as bombs? Enel scratched his head with his left hand, while he used his right hand to twirl his lightning staff to avoid the booger bombs of Mr. 5. You are a very strong opponent. He stopped throwing his booger bomb and charged at Enel, meeting him face to face. Mr. 5 was quick, but Enel was way faster. Before Mr. 5 could get close to him, he already infused lightning in his left hand, so, as soon as the booger man arrived, he was met with Enel's lightning hand. Mr. 5 did not expect the attack, but used his body as a bomb, causing everything to explode. As the smoke cleared, Enel was coughing, unhurt by Mr. 5's last-ditch effort. In front of him, a passed-out Mr. 5 laid face first on the floor. I'll never fight anyone strong. He sighed, and walked away from the battle, victorious. Mr. 3 versus Marco. No matter how hard you try, my fire will not allow your candles to form. Marco had his body covered in phoenix flames which burned hotter than any fire known to men. Alright, I surrender. Mr. 3 raised his hands in defeat. There was no way he would beat this man in battle. Marco, ever so forgiving, agreed, as long as Mr. 3 kept his promise. The wax user nodded his head violently in agreement, but, as soon as Marco turned around, he tried to betray the phoenix's trust. That was his mistake, as Marco's reflexes caught Mr. 3's candle sword before it stabbed him. Then Marco pulled Mr. 3 towards him, and threw the strongest phoenix fire-infused punch he could muster. I told you so. Mr. 3 lay down on his back, easily defeated by Marco. He was lucky to not be killed for his betrayal. Mr. 2 versus Law. You're really not a bad person, Bone Clay, you just happened to fight for the wrong people. Law avoided a swift kick delivered by Mr. 2, then used his sword to cut the. You're hiding something from me, Law-chan. Mr. 2 was a very proud person, and he doesn't like to battle with people who are holding back from him. Very good room. All of a sudden Mr. 2 found his head in the hands of Law, his body elsewhere, combined with random things such as barrels, chairs, tiles, etc. Strange. Extremely strange, feel very nauseated. Mr. 2 did not feel that he was decapitated, but his head was literally in the hands of Law. This is my ability. I have yet to show this to anybody in a long time, but you are indeed a worthy opponent. I am flattered and frightened. I can't fight you if I don't have a body, and you seem to not want to kill me. Is it because of our friendship, Law-chan? Bone Clay, you are a friend. Mr. 2 began to tear up. Okay, Law-chan, you have beaten me fair and square. I will not pursue you any longer. Since you are my friend. Ms. Doublefinger versus Tashigi. My sword is infused with my will. What makes you think I will lose to your spiked body? Tashigi blocked Ms. Doublefinger with her sword. Ms. Doublefinger changed her arms into a mallet-like form. Her ability was to turn any part of her body into spikes. That's so? She continued to use every part of her body as a spiked weapon. Consecutive attacks followed, but Tashigi was quick to guard against all of them. Indeed. Tashigi took a step back, surprising Ms. Doublefinger. This gave Tashigi enough time to focus and form her signature attack. She held her blade in front of her face. Ms. Doublefinger took the bait and continued her pursuit of the swordswoman. Her mistake was charging after Tashigi, as she used a swift diagonal cut to finish their battle. The secret was using your enemy's momentum against them, and, as Ms. Doublefinger was charging at full speed, she took a lot of damage. The battle was over before it started, as Ms. Doublefinger was simply outmatched. Mr. 1 versus Katakuri. Meet your demise, Mr. 1. I can't go easy on someone so strong. As yourself, Katakuri was using his machi to slow Mr. 1 by trapping his feet and arms in the hard sticky substance. But Mr. 1 was aggressive, quickly cutting through the trap and chasing after Katakuri. After trading strikes, the cycle would repeat where Katakuri would create space, but Mr. 1 would follow. I guess it's enough time for you. Katakuri kept firing machi balls at Mr. 1 which he quickly cut down, but the more he cut, the harder it was to move. The reason why was that the machi would stick to his blade, hands, and body. He was only a few inches away from Katakuri, but his blade could not reach him, as Mr. 1 was completely trapped by Katakuri's machi. A sight to see indeed, you have been beaten. MR.1 Katakuri walked away from the scene, leaving the Blade Man trapped in Machi. Mr. Zero vs. Luffy. I guess you will never learn Strawhat Luffy. I thought I killed you twice already. I guess this time there won't be any mistakes. The man known as Mr. Zero Aka Crocodile stood in front of Luffy, gloating about his previous 2 victories. Luffy lost 2 battles in a row to the man, the first by being overpowered since he could not hit the man, the second since Crocodile almost killed him by draining the water from his body. I just know I'll beat you, and I know my crew will find a way to stop your bomb, exclaimed Luffy, drinking a bunch of water from the water barrel he brought. The thing he learned from his previous fights with crocodiles was that he could beat sand with water. I won't make mistakes this time, exclaimed the Shichibukai. Neither will I, replied Luffy, throwing the first punch of their battle. What was different in this fight than the previous fights was that Luffy was much faster than before, and he was hitting Crocodile. This surprised the sand user, as he took a couple steps back. You've grown in such a short amount of time, I'm impressed. He spun a sandstorm in his hands, and threw it at Luffy, who just punched right through it, continuing his assault at Crocodile. The man could not regain his composure, as he severely underestimated Luffy. Crocodile found himself at the center of the tomb, unable to slow the Gumman's barrage. Luffy would not let up, using every ounce of his energy to muster his unstoppable Gomu Gomu Gatling gun. The Sandman's body would turn into sand with each hit, but some of his punches would be felt by the warlord. Impossible. Then he received a punch right through his gut, sending him into the roof of the tomb. Before he could even fall back to the ground, Luffy barrages him even more, breaking the roof of the tomb. Crocodile was sent flying through the roof, defeated by the will and strength of Strawhat Luffy. You're going to work under me from now on, he exclaimed, as soon as Crocodile fell on the ground, beaten by a young man by the name of Monkey D. Luffy. A day later, have a safe trip. Till we meet again. The Princess of Alabasta waved goodbye to the Strawhats, watching them sail away. Tears fell from her eyes, as she was glad that rain was back in her country, and they were a big part of it. The Strawhats waved back at her, holding up their marked arms, the same mark that helped them distinguish themselves from possible impersonation by Mr. 2, and a sign of friendship. This was a pretty good trip, don't you think? Asked Enel, who lay in front of the ship, admiring the views of the ocean. I suppose we did save the country after all. Tashigi replied, as she steered their ship following the log post, though it was odd that it pointed up. We got a new crewmate. Marco pat Law on the back, which caused him to be flustered a bit. Make that too. Everyone was surprised to hear a female voice somewhere on the ship, and it wasn't Tashigi. Marguerite, exclaimed Tashigi. Why are you here? I was going to ask your captain. She looked directly at Luffy. Can I join your crew? Okay. Too bad you can't be a sniper being accurate with the bow, and all, that's Enel's job. Luffy replied with a giant smile. Thank you, I'm a pretty decent tailor, maybe I can do that. She answered right back, though she seemed to be hiding something. Cool. Okay, you can be our official tailor. It was not even strange anymore that Luffy would quickly accept the former Baroque Works co-leader. After all, Miss All Sunday was the one who helped them find the bomb, told them intel on other members, and ultimately became close with Tashigi in the process. Marguerite, Taylor Strawhat Pirates, 30 million Beery, Straw Hat Grandfleet. We are becoming a really big group, what do you think of Kuro? Jin sat beside Kuro, as they ate at their mess. In the time that they entered the Grand Line, the Grand Fleet had doubled in size. Saw has become a pivotal leader of the group, as he and his group were able to scout the ocean and take care of any problem that comes close to them. The giants have found them and created camps along the coast, acting as scouts, watching anything that approaches. Wupple was an uptight bastard, but he brought good points on things they were missing in their training camps. Everyone got along just fine, but if anyone had a dispute, it was settled in a battle. It wasn't a battle to the death, it was just a way for two people to release the anger they have for one another, then by the end of the fight, they will be good again. Indeed we are, let's go to the fighting grounds. Turns out Pearl was having a problem with the way that Karubi looked at him. Kuro led the way, as the duo made their way to the battleground. Dory and Broggy were the first people the duo saw, as they could be seen from miles away. Then, as they got closer, they could make out Arlong along with Chu, Hatchin, and other fishermen. Kuro joined Django, Sham, and Butchie. Jin watched with his own crew with Wupple and his men beside them. The battle was tightly contested, as Pearl ditched his giant armor into a more mobile, smaller version of his old armor. Though he was faster, Karubi has also made major leaps in his training and mastery of fisherman karate. The duo was at a standstill when Kuro called the match a draw. The duo looked intensely at each other, seemingly wanting to fight some more, but the contest ended with a friendly hug, the crowd cheered, and people passed around drinks for everyone. I guess that's that, said Jin, who turned around to return to the training grounds when a group of people stood right in front of him. The name is Crocodile, I'm supposed to find Kuro. Holy shit, you're Crocodile, exclaimed Jin. Luffy was really doing big things in the Grand Line, this time enlisting the help of Crocodile, along with his powerful organization. Everyone sat around the meeting area, including all the top players of the Grand Fleet, Kuro, Jin, Arlong, Wupple, Dory, and Broggy. Let me be the first to welcome you to the Grand Fleet, said Kuro. Everyone echoed his welcome. I suppose, replied Crocodile, giving everyone a hard look, seemingly studying everyone. So for now, we're all training, and anticipating the main force's summon. Most of us were from the East Blue, so we are still trying to catch up with the monsters of the Grand Line. Is that so? Well, it seems that my agents are definitely battle ready. He was smug in the way he talked, but didn't seem to carry the same weight since he was defeated by Luffy. We'll be the judge of that, said Kuro. Sparring occurred after the meeting, and everyone was shocked by the results. Arling fought against Mr. 1, resulting in a tie. Jin took on Mr. 2, also winning his battle. Wapple fought with Mr. 5, almost losing, but gaining the upper hand when he got close to the bomb user. Everyone else sparred, resulting in wins and loses for both sides. The main event was Crocodile against Kuro, which resulted in a long battle that only ended when Crocodile found a small opening. The truth was, Kuro still wanted to continue, but Jin stopped the match, since they did not want any death. This earned the respect of each man for one another, causing a new light to emerge in Crocodile's darkened soul. For once he finally saw hope, and he was glad he followed his gut with joining this Grand Fleet. The Grand Fleet was already large in number and strength, but now they are getting even stronger. Thanks for watching my video, and make sure to check out the author of this fanfic. Link is in the description. See you next time. Till then, sayonara.